Okay, so let's talk about what we've done so far today on the bus. We have continued to get the vinyl floor up. Actually, Sue, say hi, Sue. Has been continuing to get these screws out of the walls. She's just been moving ahead on that, kind of in the background with everything. There are some that won't come out, and we will grind those off and then take the walls all down, but it's going to save a ton of time later. My dad and I have been getting the front seat out so that we could get to the vinyl under the front seat. The front seat is held in by either 4 or 5 bolts, depending on how you talk about it. 4 bolts hold the actual seat in, 1 bolt in the back, right here, which you can't see, right there, holds in the seatbelt bracket. We've left them on the walls for now, although I think I have to take these seatbelt brackets off the walls in order to drop the ceiling and that wall panel. The seat, right here, is an air adjustable seat, which means, funnily enough, there's an airline that goes to it. We actually took the airline, we disconnected our airline in the compartment over on the side that I'll show you in a second. It's a very simple fitting to get to. We then, my dad actually just threw on an extra piece of airline and crimped it off so that it isn't draining our air tanks if we need to move the bus, though we won't be moving far because we don't have a driver's seat. So that's the, let's see if I can find it, because I'm doing this backwards. That's the airline that we've just doubled over and crimped off. And that should hold enough air to move the bus the 20 feet we might move it around the driveway. Important note about air brakes is that if we lose all of our air, we just stop. Air brakes require air to be not engaged. And then they also require air to engage. It's a weird dual chamber thing. All right, let me go show you where we got to the air connector in case anybody else is doing the same thing. I am probably not going to get under the bus and show you where the bolts are. You can find that by twisting and tapping the same way we did. So this front panel, right here, right under the driver's area, pops open, and it's mostly your electrical connections, but down in this corner right here, kind of tucked away, is an airline T. I'm not sure where the top goes yet. I haven't traced it. It might have been for the original stop sign. It might also be the lines that run up to the door, though I kind of doubt that. But this T right here went to the driver's seat and went through the wall right there. And these are really easy connectors to work with. You just pull this little orange part back. I'm not going to do it right now. You pull that orange part back and then the line can come free. And you just push the line in until it seats and you have it reinstalled. The other thing that we did is we took our treads up. So there used to be a cap piece here and then a full tread here, here, and on the bottom. Each of those treads is held on by 6 screws, of which we found 3. And the other 3 we found by popping the vinyl up around the screw head. Honestly, it's not a bad way to go. We got after it using 3 pry bars, of which I have 2 handy. We used this pry bar to get underneath and to lever things up. We used this pry bar when we actually needed to pop the screw through the vinyl. And there's a smaller pry bar, which I have put somewhere clever. We used a very small actual crowbar to get started. We would slide it up underneath the edge here with the hook underneath. And then we'd bend it over the stair to just start to pry that lip up. The treads themselves look like this. So these are the top treads. So what we would do is we'd get the pry bar, or the small crowbar, underneath here, and then bend it up until we could get one of the straight pry bars in and start levering it up. And actually having multiple pry bars was super handy because what I would end up doing towards the end was working, especially when I was working these bolts right here, which are actually those are carriage bolts that hold on a substantial piece of steel underneath the bus. What we would do is I would get, hang on, let me turn the camera around. The tip that I would have for you is, once you can get a pry bar under there, we would get one pry bar in and get it up a little bit. Then I'd slip this one in where the bolt head is, and I would actually slip this pry bar underneath the back of it. So for the bolts and screws in the back, it is super helpful to be able to get this in and then lever at that fulcrum, as opposed to trying to lever it at this fulcrum way back here. This is a whole lot more mechanical advantage. So if you're in the same position, I recommend that maneuver. This is the tiny little crowbar that we were using to slide in underneath and then kind of lever it over so that we could get access. So yes, it was a super destructive way to get the treads up. We are never going to be able to use those treads again. Fortunately, we had talked about it and we were never going to use those treads again. So we got it out. If you need to get your treads out and save them, frankly, good luck. You might be able to get the if you can get the 6 screws out or even drill those screws out, you might be able to pop them up. There wasn't much glue, but it definitely wasn't worth it for us.